in recent times, in this century, is the big bad bill. Mm-hmm. He wants, if they give you a gift, take the gift. All right? The vice president came to Georgia and he said, he's attacking me because I voted against this. Well, guess what? I did. And I would do it again and again and again and again.
All right, guys, let's cut through the noise. J.D. Vance strutted into politics, branding himself as the hillbilly prophet, the man of the people, the voice of the forgotten. But James Carville isn't buying the act for a second. To him, Vance is nothing more than a Silicon Valley-funded opportunist playing dress-up in flannel. Hillbilly elegy wasn't a prophecy. It was a product. And the second venture capital waved a check, Vance traded authenticity for ambition. Carville swings the axe from the start, calling Vance's rise a fraud dressed as folklore.
I taught at college, community college, private universities, state universities. I never gave an F my whole time. I'd say, if you make an A, you got to earn it. But if you make an F, you really got to earn it. I got to say, he's earned an F. Dude, you did something that no student of mine ever did in 16 years. You earned an F, big time.
Yeah. Listen up. Carville doesn't just question the man, he questions the myth. Vance sold himself as a poor kid who clawed his way to Yale. But now he's the mouthpiece of billionaires. The grit he bragged about? Pawned off for hedge fund money. Carville's words slice like a butcher's knife. This wasn't grassroots, this was astroturf, neatly rolled out by Peter Thiel and Silicon Valley elites. The working class hero image, gone. What's left is a desperate man in a costume, recycling his own story until the branding wears thin.
And J.D. Vance, and you and I have talked about this, and we'll talk about it publicly. He went on vacation. People, Florida resorts are hurting. Las Vegas tourism is down substantially. The national parks, Yellowstone's down 15%. So, okay, he's entitled to a vacation. I'll give him that. Guess where he went? To a place called Oxfordshire in England.
Here's the deal. Carville hammers home the hypocrisy. J.D. once called Trump a dangerous charlatan. But when the polls and donors told him where the money was, he bent the knee. Carville roasts the transformation like a televangelist turning into a beer salesman. Unbelievable, desperate, humiliating. One day he's warning America about the con artist. The next, he's Trump's biggest cheerleader. That's not conviction, that's survival. Vance didn't flip his politics for the people, he flipped them for power. And Carville calls it out with a Cajun sneer.
Anybody think that Trump sneakers are legit? Does anybody think that Trump cologne is legit? Of course you don't. And you would say, as I do, this is one giant grift, it's one giant scam. But I gotta tell you, I don't think, I think he's a criminal of the first order.
All right, folks, let's talk about style. Carville points out how Vance markets himself as a straight-talking hillbilly, but every move reeks of calculation. The beard, the flannel, the fake down home. Twang, it's political cosplay. He's not the boy from Middletown anymore. He's the polished product of billionaire donors who saw a hungry man ready to sell his soul. Authenticity, gone, branding, everywhere. Carville reminds us, J.D. Vance isn't some savior for forgotten towns. He's a puppet auditioning for likes, retweets, and airtime.
I think these people, they want to be stolen from. And there's a lot of speculation about what fragrance that Trump's going to come out with. If he was true to himself, it would smell like, frankly, shit. Because as I pointed out before, the man has a diaper leakage problem, and a lot of people have pointed this out before that, and then subsequent to my remarks. He's got a real body odor problem.
Now here's where Carville really digs in, Vance's arrogance. He acts like his memoir gave him a monopoly on poverty and addiction, as if one man's story somehow speaks for millions. Carville smashes that illusion. Every struggling family has a story, and Vance's isn't more profound than anyone else's. The only difference? He sold his as a Netflix script and a Senate ticket. Instead of being a voice for the voiceless, Vance became a brand ambassador for himself, chasing cameras instead of serving the people.
I didn't the Tourist Association of the Florida Panhandle blow this up. The Las Vegas people, the California people, the Wyoming people. You mean you can't vacation and your wife and kids in his own country? I'm getting ready to go to Lake George. Could be the most beautiful place on earth. People in upstate New York would have been glad to have his money. But what does he do? He goes...
And here's the knockout punch. Carville dismantles Vance's alliance with Trump. Once upon a time, JD called Trump a fraud. Now he echoes his every word like a parrot on a leash. Carville paints the picture of a man who postures like a fighter, but collapses at the first sign of pressure. Appalachia's lion revealed as Silicon Valley's lapdog. When donors or Trump tug the strings, JD dances. He's not a senator. He's a salesman in cosplay, trading authenticity for applause and betraying the very people he claims to represent.
At Trump, the first thing that comes to your mind, that boy ain't right. And we've seen so much, and we've gotten so hoo-ha, and all of the crazy things that he does, we've kind of become immune to it. Or, I mean, it's almost like a yawn. And this one just stuck out as something really, even by Trumpian standards, it's hard to do something extraordinary.
Carville doesn't stop there. He calls out the mediocrity. JD's speeches, flat, his debates, recycled talking points. He doesn't inspire. He lectures like a smug substitute teacher trying to be cool. No landmark legislation, no vision, just the same canned lines repeated until they sound hollow. Carville strips him down to what he really is, a man who wrote one book, cashed the checks, and now pretends to be a heavyweight. The hillbilly prophet, revealed as a paperback fraud, propped up by billionaires and branding.
He doesn't like the United States. He does not pull for the country, and we know from the evidence that that is highly likely to be true.
Who does he like? You got to like somebody in life.
He likes Russia. He likes Belarus. He likes North Korea.
He likes North Korea.
He doesn't like soldiers. He told General Kelly that soldiers were fools. He did everything good to get out of draft. He said the country is fat slobs. He said his own people are poorly educated.
And finally, Carville twists the knife. The tragedy of J.D. Vance isn't that he sold out. It's that he convinced himself he didn't. He rationalized every betrayal, every flip-flop, every contradiction as strategy. Carville's final verdict is brutal and clear. J.D. Vance isn't a leader. He's not a fighter. He's not even an original thinker. He's a hustler with better packaging. A man who pretended to represent the heartland, while in reality, he was cashing donor checks and playing dress-up. In Carville's words, J.D. didn't earn an A, he earned an F, and he earned it big time.
What a horrific change in taste profile that we would have to go through. And understand, Jason Miller, and we're going to roll their quotes on Politicon used the Huffington Post story. It quotes them pretty good. They're very serious about this. And so here I'm going to do the plastic taste test. Very concentrated. I don't like straws for complex beverages because you don't get smell. And I think smell is a important